Alright, I'm going to try this again. Have kind of a couple of interesting things to talk about, and I want to make sure I share this on my personal page too. So give me 1 minute. This is a shout out to my buddy Dave Graber. Who asked me a fantastic question that I feel like a lot of people would benefit from the answer. Not that I have all the answers, but... Alright, what's up, guys? So, I shared an article from my website pretty recently called Finding Your Why. And that's a concept that I think is really super important for people that have any goals, really, but specifically when it comes to the health and fitness goals, can really amplify people's progress. And I had an old friend of mine reach out and comment on that, and he says, as an aging athlete, my mind still thinks I'm in my 20s, but my body reminds me at all points that I'm 55. I simply can't do what I used to be able to do, and it depresses me, to the point of not doing anything healthy. My workouts, which were daily, have vanished, and I have no desire for physical activity. Any ideas for moving out of this funk? So Dave, love you, dude, and that is such a great question that I think, man, I really hope that I can inspire a couple of people with this post. So Dave, I have 3 ideas for you, all right? And I wrote them down, so I'm going to be looking at my screen over here because it's such a great question. I think a lot of people are in this situation of having been an athlete back in their youth and approaching 40s, 50s, 60s and just not being able to work up to the same capacity. And so the very first thing, Dave, and to anyone else that kind of fits this category is that you need to understand that your age really doesn't mean a thing. There are examples of older people all over the place doing incredible physical feats, and that has to be evidence that age doesn't matter a whole lot. Now, it's true that your body over time becomes more sensitive to physical stress, and that maybe the injuries of times past are barking at you a little bit. And you also may be experiencing that your body is kind of getting used to less physical activity, and so your threshold of what you're able to handle and the kind of stress, physical and otherwise, that your body's able to handle is just not what it once was. But the reality is that all of those things are absolutely changeable. I just saw a fitness client of mine today who used to run marathons, used to just be an avid runner, and after suffering kind of a pretty significant neurologic injury, he really struggled to walk a mile in less than 24 minutes. Now, I've been trying to preach to this guy that, look, this is kind of a matter of perspective. Like you probably can walk faster than that, but when you're on your own and when you're kind of down and out and feeling depressed about it, sometimes you just need kind of a perspective shift. And so what we did today is we went out and we walked, and he walked a mile in 19 minutes and 3 seconds. He shaved 5 minutes off of a mile time. Not because of physical performance or anything awesome that I did with him, really just because I was pacing him the whole time. So anyways, there are a lot of examples of people that really age just doesn't impact as much. Now, it's important to recognize that things like sarcopenia happen as you age. You start to lose muscle mass, bone density. There's a lot of physical metrics that can change with age, but many, if not all of them, are absolutely able to be changed if you take action on some of this stuff, Dave. So that's number 1. Number 2, it sounds like you kind of need to establish a goal, and this applies to everyone, right? How many of us just kind of wander through our fitness journey or career journey or whatever it might be without actually establishing short-term, long-term goals. I was talking about this with one of the coaches at CrossFit Reviver here about what I was going to say tonight, and he brought up such a fantastic point. He said, no, it needs to be goal versus goals. It needs to be a goal because the reality is that many times achieving more than one thing when it comes to fitness and health is really, really difficult to do, as an athlete of any age. And so, I think when you think about it, it would be a good idea to establish one goal and to go after that and to experience some success, all right? So, your physical fitness is really, it's one of these things that absolutely no one else on the planet can change for you. There are things that people can change for you, right? Your nutrition, right? If you live with someone who cooks for you the whole time, hey, what's up, Luke? You live with someone who just cooks delicious, perfectly healthy food all the time, then yeah, you can change your nutrition. You can get help with your taxes, and that can change. You can get help with your career, with your job, and things can be modified by external factors there, but your physical fitness can absolutely not be changed by anyone else besides you. And more than that, moving more is one of the single best actions that you could take for your future and for your present. So Dave, I just want to encourage you, man, that you are absolutely on the right track, that you're kind of craving this physical activity and you need to get back to it. Christy Wright, who's a personality from the I don't know what they're called now, Ramsey headquarters, Dave Ramsey, financial guy. I overheard her on a radio show once say a quote, and I wrote it down here, that if you don't decide what your priorities are in life, everyone else around you will decide for you. And that is absolutely the case when it comes to a goal. So you need to write something down, put it down on paper. It's nothing novel. It's something that you know already. So just get to it. What's up, Dave? This is for you, man. This is for you. I'm doing this for you. It took me like a week and a half to actually respond, but I feel like it's super important, and a lot of other people are experiencing this. So hopefully some of this helps out a little bit, and you can rewatch it later once I'm done here. Dave, I'm going into the third point here. I'm long-winded for sure, but there's a big underlying statement in this whole situation where you say that you have no desire for physical activity. And I'm not calling you out by any means. I'm doing all this lovingly. But, man, that seems way out of character for you. You are such an enthusiastic guy. And I think the first thing that I probably would take a look at is your stress management. Before I looked at anything else as far as changing, I would take a look at how you're managing stress. And, we know that high stress levels can lead to everything from depression, low motivation, to increased pain in joints. There's a lot of research on that. And so getting a handle over your stress, dealing with your, adopting better coping mechanisms are absolutely a huge game changer when it comes to this stuff. A lot of people are dealing with other things. Recently retiring can be really, really tough on people. And it might be a good idea for those people to find a really good, healthy hobby and get into something that really provides value to other people and that fills you up with a good sense of purpose. Some people later in life, and really at any age in life, find that getting a hold of time in their schedules like way too hard. They're too busy. And to those people, I consistently tell them to consider prioritizing 1 hour every single week where you do something that you love. And that can be anything from reading on your own, going to a coffee shop, and just scheduling you time. I think that having time to reset can be a huge game changer. And certainly things like meditation, mindfulness training, there's lots and lots of really sound research on this kind of stuff to support it for managing the stress better. And Dave, I don't know if that's necessarily something that you're dealing with, but I think that a lot of people in the 50s and 60s that I work with on a daily basis have really high stress situations, whether they know it or not. So, I would back up, take a 10,000-foot view, and consider what your coping mechanisms are as well. Do you have healthy coping mechanisms? Do you have any coping mechanisms for stressful events in life? Zoom out, take a look at that, and see if you can change any of that for the better. And so, just finally, Dave and everyone else, takeaways from this is I encourage you to, yes, absolutely, get back into those things that you used to love. So weightlifting, biking, running, wakeboarding, whatever it might be, I think that it's absolutely necessary for you to just jump into this stuff and to fight the normal that honestly many of your peers in their 50s and 60s will eventually just learn to accept. And the normal is just not good, right? The normal is not moving. The normal is eating like garbage, and man, we don't want anything to do with that, right? So, one last quote. I don't know where this comes from, but I thought it was kind of cool. Life is short, fragile, and does not wait for anyone. There will never be a perfect time to pursue your dreams and goals. There's no time like now to just go after this stuff, all right? And that applies to absolutely everyone in every situation. But, it's so true, right? Time passes by so quickly, and you got to make this stuff a priority, and you have it in you, and you can do this. So, Dave, hopefully you get some value out of this. Go back and watch the other couple of points, and maybe some of that other stuff I said will make sense. But, time to get back on the horse. Hopefully I can help inspire a few people with this. You guys have a good night.